So we're starting, I think we started, great. When we last left, last time you were above Altair in the station, you managed to control the spin, get it back at least to something that resembles normality. Yui managed to get a whole lot of data that you were looking at with a whole lot of weird information on it that was strange. I think you were looking in, so you'd gone into the operational files, you'd gone into some of the other data files, and there is the one sort of red file, I guess you'd call it, that she has yet to try to break into as she's transferring stuff onto a pad. You guys were all with her saying that we're not going to say anything to anyone. Of course, the minute she gets caught out, I'm sure someone's going to say, she did it, she did it. Anyway, that's when we left. You had, from the Cepheus, you heard that they were searching for anybody who survived. And that's as far as you got with them. You don't know what they're doing, but you're still sitting up there in the space station. I don't know what else you want to do.
Oh yeah, weren't we powering it up? We'll get the gravity stable. Did we do all that?
You stopped the tumble. You got it spinning. I mean, there's lots to repair. But I'm thinking that sort of when Yui got that really interesting information, everyone sort of stopped to look at what the hell this was all about. Is there anything you want to check on the station other than the files?
Now, we looked at some of the stuff and acted like we did and forwarded it to the ship. So we're kind of in the loop a little more than we're supposed to be, right? Isn't that correct?
I don't think you forwarded it to anybody. Yui's just downloaded it onto her hand computer. But yes, you are aware of information that's weird. That there's alien ruins. Something fired something from the surface of the planet, which is what you're assuming is what's destroyed that part of the station and sent it into the tumble, which you rectified. You saw a skeleton, and I described it as similar to humans, but there were some obvious differences. The three that you could easily tell was that the cranial features on the skull were a lot bigger, the barrel of the chest was a lot bigger, and the feet looked as though they had so if you know how the feet bones go, sort of, you got the foot and you got the toes at the front. This one sort of had 4 toes at the front joined to that, but off the side another sort of almost half as big as the foot, another sort of toe bone. So it almost as though it had, if I draw it, that actually might be a lot easier than trying to describe it, Steve. So
side toe.
Yeah, a side toe. Yeah. So if that's sort of the very, very badly drawn.
Now we saw that on the computer display on the information in the file, right?
Yeah, and then well, I did that wrong, but it's only about half. It's only about half that size, but it's like that in that purple that I just drew on.
Okay.
I'll send him the hangouts again. He's back. Yeah, so that's sort of what you've that's been the biggest difference in the skeletal thing that you saw. You also heard in the operational files that the guy in the station was talking about, g'day Matt, was talking about just recovering what you did last time, talking about some sort of energy source on the planet, and then you've got a report almost immediately that something's happening down here. We're getting an energy spike, and then there's this brilliant white light in the sort of inside the space station that sort of everyone sort of is glowed in, and then it cuts off. So we're just talking about the information that
there's
you've got.
obviously some kind of enemy or some kind of force that's on the planet, or else maybe some kind of old alien defense system.
Yeah, well, there
Something
was
strange. Like that would be my conclusion. That's what I'm sharing my opinion then with the group on that.
Okay, so you do know in your files there was a file that it was like over 9,000 years ago something changed. It looks like the ecosphere was changed because they've got some organic matter in the soil which doesn't correlate with the current ecosphere. So at some stage the ecosphere was a lot more richer and more biodiverse. Well, it was existing because there's nothing there at the moment. And Matt, just because you joined, Yui has the only file she hasn't yet got into is a red file.
Okay. I guess I downloaded everything else to like what was it? What are they called again? The handheld computer. So there's still one file.
One file that won't copy over.
It won't copy over.
No. Is he able to break into it? Did he do it?
Yeah, can we read it?
You can try.
All right.
Give it a shot.
I'll give it a try.
Difficult task, probably.
Is this computer?
Computer. And intelligence, right? Something like that?
And intel. Okay, that's only a +2.
You're getting a +1 because you've got a feel for the security system because you've already broken in, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Alrighty. So 3.
That is definitely not going to get you in. Nope.
Alright.
No, that's low.
Yep.
We're not getting it out. File.
The only thing you get on it is the file name, and it just says capital V, capital C, and again grey, and it's, I think we said the top number that it goes to is like 280 something. Sorry,
did you say 300?
300. Okay, 300. Yeah. Okay, so this is a grey 300. So it goes V, C, grey 300.
And has it locked me out of trying to get into it? Is that...
No, no, you didn't do a catastrophic failure.
Oh, okay. Well, it's up to the rest of the guys. If you want me to keep trying, I can.
And we're not sure. We're not sure what this gray.
I'd say give it another try.
No, you don't.
I would say, what the heck? Maybe someone might want someone from the group to communicate with the main ship, just letting them know we're trying to stabilize things, or buy ourselves some time before they start scooting over.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they'll report back that they're still trying to find survivors. They've recovered some debris from the lifeboats. Can you confirm that all 3 lifeboats left the station?
Maybe I'll go start doing that while he's breaking into the... I said, we're taking a look on that. Right now we're doing the power plant. I'm going to skim through the station and go to the lifeboat bays and see what I see.
Rightio. So as you do that, Yui, don't forget, Yui, you can take your time, and that might give you bonuses and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'll take my time this time, if I can get any bonuses from that.
Okay. So you've lost your +1 because of when you got locked out. Well, you didn't get locked out, but you weren't successful, but you get a +1 for taking time. In that time, Jerry, your character Connor, Gregory, you verify that 2 of the life ships did launch, 1 did not.
2 of the life... Okay, so I would relay that message back to them. 1's still here, and then I'm going to check the inside of the lifeboat. That's still there.
You can look in there, and you can see that there are 3 bodies in there. They either are unconscious or dead.
Okay, are they in vac suits? Is it sealed? Do we have pressure in there, or what?
They've got vac suits, but they don't have their helmets on.
We've got pressure throughout the whole station, then. We're not
you do, but you've got your vac suit on if you want to put the bubble back on.
Okay. Then I would, well, I don't have medical, but I'm gonna check and see if they're still alive or breathing. At least feel their skin and see if there's a pulse.
Okay. Well, you go in and you're greeted with a stench that will tell you straight away, no,
They're dead.
You don't want to be in here any longer.
They're dead.
Yep.
There's no way to tell what then I'd get over the comm and I would relay the message back to the ship. We got 3 dead bodies, and they've been dead for a little bit because they're a little crisp. They're starting to reek here.
Yep. So the guy wants to know who they were.
Do I have anything like a smartphone or anything? I could snap a picture.
Well,
I don't know who they are. Is there any way I could tell who they are?
They'll have their name labels on their vac suits.
Okay, then I would look for the name labels on the vac suits and read them off to them.
So there's a Z Solomon, a T Poultice, and an R Smith.
I read those labels back to them.
Radio. Okay.
I have no idea what they died from. I know they've been here for at least a few days, our standard days, because they're, even though they're still all appealing, they're reeking pretty well.
You to seal it up. Don't touch it. He'll be, when he gets a chance, he'll be sending a specialist up to.
I close the lifeboat door and I leave it as it is.
Radio. Okay, Yui, what happened?
I rolled a 9, so.
Nope.
That's still too low. You probably need a 10 or higher.
Yep.
Well, we're not getting into that sucker.
Nope.
I can't help. I got electronics, not computer.
Okay. So over the next 20 or so minutes, you look through the rest of the rest of the station. Yes, it's been bashed about a bit. Obviously, the grav was off, so lots of things have went floating and have obviously landed now that you put the grav back on. There are no other dead bodies in here. There are a couple of experiments that are still left to run, mainly botanical. Not sure what they're trying to. There's plants and some sort of material. Doesn't look like soil to you, but it's something. That's about it, really. And the said plants aren't doing terribly well. Yeah, that's not much else. Can you give me a... Did you have mech, Jerry? Or did Mentar
I believe I do. Let me check my character.
Mentar, can you check if you got mech as well, please?
I've got I've got mechanic 0.
Okay.
So Ostrom can help, but he's not very skilled.
No, that's all cool. Can you...
God, I don't have mech. I have electronics too.
Okay, and you've got engineering, but you also have ship engineering, yeah?
No, I've got piloting.
Sorry, there's another character. Okay.
Yeah, I've got piloting and
Alright. Okay, Mentar, can you give me a mech roll, please?
Alright.
Do you have a high intelligence or a high education to give you a bonus?
I have a high education.
Okay. I apply the bonus, please. Yep.
Alright.
Hey, Steve, while they're going through the rest of the ship, Yui's just going to stay where she is, and eventually I'll give that file one more try before we leave.
Okay.
If that's alright.
Ostrom has, Ostrom nailed it.
Yep. Okay. There is something a little bit odd in the engineering bay. There seems to be... You sort of look at it and you can't quite make out what it is. So there's a couple of panels you can remove just to sort of see what the equipment behind is, because it doesn't sort of, you know how you can look at an engine and you go, yeah, everything's there, and then you can look at a, say you're looking at a gasoline engine and an electrical engine. They're going to look really different. There's something odd like that about this room. So you take off some panels just to have a look behind some things. If you can give me another mech roll, please.
Alrighty.
And Jerry, if you can go do a electronics roll, please. Nope. Okay.
Okay, I have electronics 2 plus intelligence.
Yep.
So that would be, I get a bonus. It's 11, so I get a bonus of 1. That would be a +3. Hold on, I'm rolling right now. Boom. I have an 8.
Okay. When Ostrom sort of points out this odd thing, you're not sure what it's about, but there seems to be an awful lot of extra wiring routed to this particular section. It's odd. You don't know what's. You have no idea what this particular device is. It doesn't look like anything you sort of come across. You couldn't, and it's not in a place that Ostrom would say is connected to the rest of the mechanics of the area.
So it looks like something that's out of place, and it's got a lot of wires attached to it.
Yeah, and it's definitely got 3 redundant systems built into it. So it's, for some reason, whoever's put this in here has made sure it's going to be one of the last things that goes down.
Okay, I share that information with the people, with the group, with the PCs around me, and I'm going to start to putz with it and look a little further. So I'm going to make another electronics roll.
Okay.
Oh, the middle roll's the next roll. That's a 10. Somebody didn't roll twice.
Rightio. The only other piece of information that you can get is that at least part of this system is an amplifier of some sort. It's built to amplify something, but you don't know what. So it's still like, and like, so as he tells Ostrom, that makes absolutely no sense for this to be in the drive section at all.
That's what I thought.
Yep. Okay.
Amplifier. I'm sorry. Can everybody hear me? Am I thinking, Jerry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Donovan, you know that there are 3 bodies in one of the last remaining life pods. I don't know if you want to do anything about it, but
like some kind of autopsy work?
Or observations or something, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was going to do something like that. I'm going to make a medic roll. I have to jump to my sheet.
So you can immediately tell when you open the door, these guys, by their rate of decomposition and all that sort of stuff, these guys have been dead for practically all the time since the message got sent out. So definitely, just by, you sort of know decay rates and all that sort of stuff, environmental factors to increase or decrease, all that sort of stuff. These people are around about a 3-week time period.
I hope this space station was free of flies, because they're going to have a party. Let me make a medical type of, I guess, whatever you call forensics. I don't know if you ever saw the old series Quincy. I got to be a Quincy here.
And Quincy got a 5.
That's bad.
Yep. You can tell they're dead, but you can't tell what killed them. No.
Okay.
But you can definitely tell they're dead. Okay,
could
Yui.
Could be just the conditions. Not my skill. It's not my skill. It's probably just the conditions.
Of course. Okay, Yui.
Yep. I have another crack. Taking my time.
You get a +1 only. Ah, there you go. Okay.
Beautiful.
You break into it. Okay. It says great. So this one's titled up slightly differently to all the other files, and it says for Grey Sector 300 plus only. Whatever the hell that means.
Yep.
300 plus only. It's some kind of code.
So,
she's going to try and transfer it to the hand computer straight away before even delving into it too quick.
No, it will not copy over.
Alright, well then she's going to read through it carefully.
Okay, so its title is The Vash Conundrum.
One sec, just let me get out of it. Yeah.
That's hairstyle Vash. Okay, so just what do you know of the Vash?
I don't know anything about the Vash. What was the title of the file again? Sector 300 only, grey. Sector 300 grey only.
No, the title of the file, not the file name, was for grey sector 300 plus only.
Grey. All right.
Okay, and then the title in it's called the Vash Conundrum.
Yep.
Does anyone remember when we started the game what the Vash are?
I remember they were aliens and they were.
Oh, he's got them in the data. They're an alien. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the data.
Yep. Anybody remember anything else about that?
Not offhand. Let's see.
You can find them in the file.
Yeah.
If you have a look, if you can open up the OneNote, you'll see a picture of them. They're quite ugly.
Yeah.
They are a slightly taller, bigger hominid shape. I'm just trying to find the picture of one so I can.
Which note, Steve? Is it in the
OneNote? Just in OneNote.
Oh, I don't have OneNote. I think you sent it to me in PDF.
Yeah, I got a PDF too. There's not much here except they're native to 61 Cygni and they're bipedal and have starfaring technology, Jump 1.
Yep.
So, yeah. And man, that guy's ugly.
Yeah. Yep. So how would you, I don't even know if I can, no, I can't paste it onto here. Just a bit
You got the Trinary PDF. Vars.
Yeah. So if you've got the PDF or if you've got the OneNote, I don't know.
Yeah, OneNote doesn't work with Linux. What I'm using,
Yeah.
I can't make it work either. I'm out of luck with OneNote.
So the Vash basically are, as we said, bipedal. They're mammalian. They give birth to the young live. They have instead of a mouth, they have a whole lot of mandible sort of things, and their ears are, well, they sort of represent sort of spiny, spiky sort of ears. It's very hard to sort of describe them. If you look at the picture, I'll make sure I put it up in the next.
I've pulled it out of my file. I saved your PDF. I've glanced over it, and I've got it in one of my game files.
So that's the Vash, yeah. So as you read Yui, sorry. So the Vash Conundrum. Research on Altair has confirmed previous theory. It has now been proven without a doubt that humanity is an offshoot of the Vash.
Whoa.
No
wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Hey, I'm gonna have to sign out.
Okay, maybe.
I would like somebody to keep playing Pierre. Would you want to take Gregory? If you could send Gregory to Pierre, and then just Pierre, you could update me on whatever happens, and just play him. He's got good skills you could use. Play 2 characters. And don't kill him, Steve, while I'm not playing. Kill him when I'm playing. He's gonna die.
I won't kill him. Pierre might, but I won't. Okay,
I'm gonna sign out. I might
catch
you guys at the end of the game.
Cool.
Maybe not.
Oh, cool.
But I hate to do it. This sounds like it's gonna be a really good one.
Yeah.
Got a gold, old man.
Okay, well, have fun.
I've never
with what
killed a
doing.
patient. Never.
Yeah, never.
All right.
Not
Peace
when
out, brother.
See you later, matey. Take
Have
care.
a good one, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So, Yuri, you read on. There's a whole lot of medical stuff that you don't really understand that probably Donovan would if you could find him to show him.
Once I see the medical stuff, I'll radio to him to come have a look at some stuff.
Okay.
And then keep reading. Yep.
Okay.
I gotta screenshot this marsh real quick.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I posted it.
Oh, cool.
Does this get bigger? It doesn't get any bigger than that. Let's see.
I got an image UR for it.
Cool, there you go. Thank you very much.
Posted.
That is a Vash. Yes, they are pretty ugly creatures. Well, to us anyway. But apparently...
Nice clothing.
Yeah. So apparently we are an offshoot of that race.
No way.
So there is... Well, unfortunately, yeah.
Ostrom doesn't believe it.
Of course not. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
How could that possibly be true? Okay, this backs up the ruins found on Eden, and also some of the intel which is held on Earth, Terra. It goes on a little bit more about how it's been confirmed that the ruins on Altair are Vash in origin. The idea at the moment was that at one stage the Vash were a much more of an empire spanning culture, that somehow they managed to get to Earth. We're not quite sure when, but somehow their genetic, or somehow they were able to interact with something in the biosphere, and humans were the evolutionary result of that. This information is to be kept at all costs from public knowledge. The confusion and chaos this would create would probably be the whole disintegration of the human as it's known. And given the fact that we're only in the beginning stages of learning about present day Vash, we don't want to give away any sort of knowledge that might endanger us. There were several other bits and pieces. There's several other serial numbers mentioned as if they are, it sort of refers to them as people. Like they've been given missions, but all these missions seem to have different code names, so you're not sure what the hell the missions are all about, but there's at least half a dozen people involved on various extremely high level, because no one's below a grade 250 that you can see. Yeah, so you're sort of making connection that this grey number is somehow a rank or something of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what you get out of that. Also, you get that should anyone outside of Grey Sector we will have to operate Scorched Earth, the Scorched Earth, what do they call it? Not operative, the Scorched Earth, we'll call it the Scorched Earth plan, on any individual or individuals.
Yeah, so if they find out we know this, we're dead pretty much.
Well, whatever Scorched Earth is.
Pardon?
Whatever Scorched Earth means to the people who wrote it.
Okay.
Seems pretty obvious.
It's about then you get a crackle over the communicator that the captain they've discovered the remains. Looks like no one survived, and they are now turning the vessel up to come up and pick you up.
Alrighty. Shut down the computer firmly, and I hide my hand computer.
Alright.
Deep down in the lady parts of around the lady parts.
Yeah. Might be a bit suspicious.
Yeah. Why are you walking funny, Yui? I've got my hand computer where no one needs to go.
Ray 500.
Okay, so in the interim, before they actually get there, are you planning or talking about anything?
Well, just quickly, did Donovan see anything in the medical stuff that was on the file? Just when I called him back.
Okay. If you can give me a medical roll, please, Donovan.
She showed me some medical stuff.
Yep. So only you and her have actually seen the file. So if there's any Scorched Earth happening, there's only two of you at the moment that are guaranteed Scorched Earth.
I don't want to be scorched.
Mhm. Okay. Well, Donovan.
Ooh.
Apparently they've managed. This is autopsy information. All laid out very nicely. And they've measured all sorts of things, and it's all invariance with common chemical components and structure and all that sort of stuff inside the humans and versus Vash. They've done down to DNA levels. Humans and Vash share around about 95% of the common genes. Although there are, in some of those others there is a variance, and I'm not sure what it means. They also talk to something called a psi factor. They seem to share the psi factor gene as well as what humans have. You haven't heard of this psi factor gene, whatever that is. It's spelled PSI, but you haven't heard of it before in a medical term.
Okay.
Righty.
So that's the only sort of, apart from the fact that what you're reading all makes sense, like if you were doing an autopsy, you'd expect all this information. Bone density is a little bit greater, tensile strength is a bit greater than humans. They have similar sort of, other than that, most of the systems seem to be very similar between the two races. About 95% similar, actually. Vash have a
Is there anything?
They also, what would be, the interesting thing is that they've been doing some studies in what in humans would be called the appendix. And it seems to be related to this psi factor thing. Not quite sure what. Sorry, you're going to say Yui?
I was just going to say that after we're done with this, is there anything I can do to the computer that would make it more, would remove any trace that the files have been accessed, if there is any trace? Or even just sabotage the computer completely?
You can try.
Well, just make it look like, make it look like it hasn't been messed with, basically.
Okay, so you get to, okay, and I get to do a roll. So you think you've done pretty good?
Alright, cool.
In covering your tracks?
Alrighty. Let's hope that turns out to be true. Else, I'm going to be scorched.
Whatever that means. Okay. Yep. Are you doing anything else, anyone else, while the ship's coming up? Ostrom, down in the mech bay, you guys doing anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not sure that there's anything that we have to do.
Pierre, you or Gregory? Oh, you're just typing.
Yeah, I just found out how to do a psi here. Anyway, you got a question?
Yep. Is there anything you or Gregory's doing once you understand that the other ship is coming up to retrieve you?
Am I in charge of the Gregory character now? Oh, okay. Let's see.
How do you press all those bloody keys at one time?
You don't. You don't. You just type them in sequence.
Oh.
So you go and sign, number sign, 936, and semicolon makes up psi apparently. And I can't illustrate it without illustrating the code.
And number
sign.
What's the number sign? Oh, the hash.
Hash.
above the
call
3.
It. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And number 936.
936. Nope.
You forgot the semicolon at the end.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And hash 936 semicolon. Holy shit. We live and learn every day. I never knew you could do that. That is freaky.
It's a hidden ASCII code, higher ASCII or upper and enhanced ASCII something or other.
Wow.
Actually, I think it's more like the web page. It's HTML, I think.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, it's cool. Okay, for you out there in podcast or blogcast land, now you know how to type the psi sign. Thank you, Pierre. Okay, is there anything that you or Gregory is doing?
Yeah, I was going to check Gregory's sheet to try to find out.
Okay, well, last I heard he was mucking around with the wires.
Yeah. Okay, well that, was he still back in engineering with that device, apparently, the thing called an amplifier?
Well, the basics behind it, electronically it amplifies something. But it's not connected, as far as you can tell, it's not connected to anything he can identify. And Mantar Ostrom doesn't seem to be able to identify anything else, so they're sort of at a bit of a loss.
I have to separate character knowledge because I've just been reading something about a psi whatever, not knowing at all what it is. Maybe it amplifies this psi factor thing. All I heard from Gregory's broadcast was that it was amplifying an amplifier of some sort, like circuits that amplify. But I guess the two characters cannot really put that together, so Gregory probably looks around a bit and gets ready to leave with the rest of us.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've heard him, you as Donovan, you've got the information.
I asked Gregory if there's anything like is there anything like a helmet or something that people wear on their heads?
Okay, can you just give him a just a general 2d6 roll, and I think his intelligence gives him a bonus of something. Hang on a second, I'll just check for you. His balance of her intelligence.
He does have a +1.
1. Okay, 2d6 plus 1.
This is my control.
Yep.
2d6. Yes.
He has a look. He, follows connections all the way around. He says, "No, there's nothing here like that." But and he sort of pulls 2 loose wires out, and he says, "You know those things that people stick on your chest to take your heartbeat? I've got those things in my hand, and they're wired into whatever this is."
So something that fits on the body somewhere, on the chest.
Oh no.
Electrodes.
The only thing Gregory would be able to say is, like, he's seen them put on people's chests.
So there's like little EEG suction cups, or are they like
something like that, or the equivalent in this timeline.
Okay.
Do we have a volunteer?
Oh no, I'm not going to experiment with something that has to do with what I know nothing about.
All right, no volunteers. Fair enough.
Amplifies voltage through the chest. That doesn't sound very right to begin with.
Says Donovan. I think that goes against everything I've been taught.
Yeah, do not shock, especially it's bad enough going to a foreign country and realizing it's 220 volts, but here it's much worse.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Will's character, who's probably been stalking around the whole time, holding his sword, would be keen. He'd be like, "Stick him on my chest now."
Where is Will today? Is he busy with the family?
I've been trying to get in touch with him, but
Okay.
I gave up.
Okay. So let's have a vote. You three guys get to vote. If you want to have someone volunteer for this, who votes for Will's character?
Yeah, fuck it. I'll vote for Will's character.
Anyone else? You need a.
I'm pretty sure I know what he would say as well. He'd be like,
needs to be the majority, and I've only got one person. Sorry, but yeah.
No, I vote against. Come on, Donovan says, no. Come on, this is, electrodes on the body. It could be lots of fun, but it's unethical.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, if Will's not here, then no.
Okay. So around about 6 or so minutes out, the ship said that they cleared the atmosphere and they're on their way to you. Exactly, shock the monkey. So they're after a short time, they will dock. Since you've got the station in a much more appropriate orbit, they can dock the ship to you. They come across in their spacesuits, obviously see you in their helmets, and they go, one guy's there, he's like checking a device. Haven't seen it before, Donovan, whatever he's checking, it's some sort of fancy device. And sort of like, you can't actually hear them. Normally you'd hear them on the radio channel, but they must be using a different channel. So anyway, he shakes his head as if in a yes sort of position. So their helmets come off. Okay, so the captain says report. Says he wants a report. Yeah. Who's speaking?
You will speak, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She just says that we came aboard the ship. It was it wasn't stable, and it had no gravity. We found our way to the control room and realized that we'd need to restart the power. Gregory and Ostrom restarted the power while I stabilized the orbit and stabilization of the ship. And then we searched and we found two or three dead people, was it? Three dead people in the one remaining lifeboat.
Okay.
And that is all we did.
Rightio. Okay then. Where is Ostrom and Gregory at the moment, guys, when these guys come on board?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I know I was down in the motor pool, but yeah. I assume I came up.
Okay, you come up. Rightio. And Pierre, where's Gregory?
I think he'd better be back in engineering.
Mm-hmm. Doing what?
He can make his way back.
Yep. What's he doing?
I explained about the there's a device apparently wired up in engineering that he was looking at.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently Will's going to be on in 2 minutes.
Okay. So the captain, thank you. Captain's his device. Okay, someone, is anyone down there? Is anyone down there?
Sorry, I missed that. I was messaging Will.
Yeah. So you tell him that Greg's down there, so he'll go down there. There's like 4 of them. So 2 of them go off to the life pod, sorry, and one of them's on deck, doing starting up the computer, moving through the bits and pieces. Can you give me a roll, please, Yui?
Roll for
computer-based roll.
Computer roll.
Yep. Just your intelligence or education, whichever one you've been using.
Yeah.
He's just going through what would appear to you to be like a normal startup, booting up the computer, going through checking. He's checking the integrity of the file structure, of the various commands, verifying.
I'm sweating profusely.
Yep. 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 And as soon as I get to make my roll...
Come on, I rolled a 12 when I covered my tracks. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Can't I?
No, you can't. You can't do it.
Let's see, shall we?
Oh, you rolled it before. You rolled it before.
No, it didn't roll. Okay.
Ah, it didn't roll.
Unrecognized command. I forgot to. I put a space between the forward slash and the GM roll, but I've rolled it now. So, when the video comes out, you'll probably see what I rolled.
All right.
Okay. Gregory Connor. T wants to be free. Cy wants to.
No,
be
I
free.
mistyped it.
Okay.
I mistyped the number.
Okay, so Cy wants to be free. What does that mean?
Means we've tried. Maybe we smashed the disc, but the Psy, whatever it is, wants to break out anyway.
Okay.
Spread all over the room. I'm making some kind of joke.
Oh, that's okay. That's cool. Okay, the guy gets down, and he sort of looks at Gregory, and he says, "Report."
Oh, that's me. Well, Gregory just points and says, "I can't make hide nor hair of this thing."
As he's
Seems like
holding
it's
the
an
two.
amplifier.
Yep. Amplifier for what, he says?
I don't know. All the circuits seem to point to amplification. You see it just as plainly as I do.
Okay.
You can maybe get some electrician monkeys on this thing.
Right. And is there anything else you've discovered about this ship that's untoward or unknown?
Let me see. Gregory says no. He was mainly in this room.
Right. Okay. Right. He says, well, how about you leave that for the electric monkeys, as you call them, and come up. So he sort of waits for Gregory to go up front of him. You guys sort of go up towards the, I don't want to say cockpit, but the command central. That's the best word. Okay, rightio. He says, rightio, so thank you, you've done an awesome job. You guys can report back to the other ship, wait there. We'll just set this to be on automatic until we can get someone else to come in and carry on with whatever was happening and get some people to come in and repair the ship. That'll be all.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, you guys go across to the other ship. It's all very familiar. A bit more relaxing. You take your vac suits off. You don't need them anymore. You go through a decontamination process. And that's about it. They're over in the other ship for about 15-20 minutes at max. You guys are sort of just coming out of your decontamination period, drying off whatever in your clothes, gathering in the common room, that sort of stuff. Okay, so Captain requests Yui on board into the cockpit, thank you.
Yep. She proceeds to the cockpit.
Right, he gives you some coordinates.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Give over.
I just posted it.
Cool, thank you. So he's basically you're going back to the Arcadia system, but not to where you flew out from, but into a slightly different area. You're not quite sure where that is, but obviously it happens. I mean, it's time, stuff moves and all that sort of stuff, so perhaps it's that change, but it does seem to be a significant distance from where you left the system. But that's about the only thing that looks different. You input the details. You fly out to the appropriate space, and then you go on to jump. Everything else appears to be quite normal to you during your journey back into Arcadia space. And basically, what are you doing for that week?
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
I thought we started at 12 today.
No, 1:30. Well, it was supposed to be 1, but I had a visitor on it. I thought it'd be half an hour, but I was only about 15 minutes late.
So have you changed it back since we last?
Change what back?
Because it kept getting moved later and later to 12. Is it starting to get earlier and earlier now?
It goes to 2 o'clock when we've got daylight saving and they don't. And I think that's the case. I'm not sure. And so, then they change back for a couple of weeks, and then we change back. So they have it and we don't. So it goes, it's either the earliest we play is 12 o'clock, the latest we play is 2. And we've got a 1 o'clock for a couple of weeks either side. It's really, really confusing. We've only been doing this for 5 years and I'm still confused with it all.
Well.
Okay, so you are almost at the end of your week. Is anyone doing anything that they feel they need to do during that week?
Well, I don't understand. We're back in Arcadia, but in a different part. Is this like...
You'll be coming out in a different part. Well, you can tell you.
Okay. Oh, but we're a week in transit. Oh, of course. I see.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Because normally you would tend to re-enter in roughly the same sort of area you left, because obviously not too much time has taken place, so astronomically it's a pretty safe area to jump back into.
Yeah.
But for some reason you're jumping into a different area.
Ostrom's probably reading Mechanics for Dummies or something.
Right. The red wire goes into the red wire socket.
Yeah.
The yellow wire does not go into the red wire socket. The green wire does not go into the red wire. One of those magazines?
Yeah.
Touching the green and brown wire is right out.
Yeah, and if you have a purpley fluorescent coloured wire, we don't know what you're using. Yeah. Okay, so anything people want to do before we jump back into space?
Yui's gonna in private just read more of the files and stuff, but very secretively.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna make sure her hand computer isn't connected to any sort of shipboard system.
Right.
Through travel or Wi-Fi of stuff.
Yep. So probably in her.
She's also gonna encrypt it, etc. The whole hand computer as much as possible.
Okay, give me a computer. Oh, give me 1d6 plus your bonuses. I roll the other part. Sorry, just to see how much encryption you end up getting.
Oops.
Oh no, I'm going to roll that again with the proper one that you can't see.
Ah.
Well, it can only be better than the 2.
True.
Well, it can only be better than the 1, but can only be worse by 1. Okay, so another number you got. Okay. Rightio. Anyone doing anything else during that week?
Oh yeah, the 2 was for me, wasn't it?
I'm likewise looking through my own only medical references.
Yeah.
And files not connected to the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look up the meaning of the Greek letter psi.
Mm-hmm.
But coming up with hundreds of scientific references and uses, I guess. So I'm probably confused.
Yep. So you get all the basic stuff. And a medical reference would be probably it's the whatever number of the Greek alphabet it is. In the late 20th and early 21st century, there was some suggestion and exploration into extrasensory perception, commonly in pop culture referred to as psionics. That's about the only other sort of medical, and of course it was debunked and it was proven not to be true, and sort of after that period it sort of faded away. So that's about the only sort of two medical things you get.
Yeah, Psi, how absurd, he chuckles as he drifts off to sleep.
Yes.
In a spaceship.
In a spaceship. Jumping between systems. Okay. And then, Ostrom turns over the last page. And if you had a white wire, do not put it into the red wire socket. End. Yeah?
That's good to know.
This is all, That's excellent. So, and this covers the informational data that you need on red wires and red wire sockets. Next, the green wire.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where that one goes.
Wow. Okay. Right, yeah. Meanwhile, Yui, are you a little bit, how would you describe your character doing all this hidden stuff? Is she in any way getting worried or anxious or paranoid or anything like that? Or is she, what's she doing?
Yeah, she's probably getting slightly paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty generally, her personality's pretty pretty shut down in general. So yeah, she's getting a little bit paranoid depending on what she's reading, I guess. But yeah, she's starting to get more paranoid just having the information on her.
Okay, all right. So the information that you get, there seems to be a lot of cross-referencing to other reports. There's lots of stuff to be said about the ruins on Eden. Then they talk about the ruins codenamed Atlantis on Earth, which is something you've sort of not really ever heard of before. And there's some indicators of some ruins, as I said, on Altair that they were investigating. They found out that the one thing that they feel that they're pretty sure of is, those sort of 4 meter, sort of 5 meter tall, almost finger jointed pylons that in the last session we said they were looking at and talking about.
Yep.
They feel that wasn't part of Vash culture. That was from probably from a different race. It was definitely a different technology.
Alrighty.
They're not sure of its purpose. They never could get into one of these pylons. It seemed to be embedded in the bedrock of the planet itself. And there's indications that it actually taps into the thermal regions of the inner planet. Is how it powers itself.
Okay.
They're not sure of the purpose of it. They just know it's articulated for some reason they're still not sure of. At the moment they're assuming it's so that it can be targeted, that it can be directionally targeted at things.
Yep.
The markings on the outside don't match anything that they've come across in the other 7 sites. And so you get 7 sites all of a sudden. Because you only read about a couple, but there's 7 sites.
Alright.
And I guess the last thing is that they need to send, they need to gain some information, more than send. to the, sorry, I'm just trying to find it while I'm talking to you, to the, oh god, okay, here we go, to the, excellent, that's not it, don't you just love it? Okay, here. Yep. They need to gain some more information from the cultural and economic attaché attached to the NSFS and TGU Navy that's been sent to the Vash, or Varusa, which is the name of the planet of the Vash. They need to get some more information, whatever they found out, to see if they can corroborate or to demystify some of the other information that they've got, or some of the data that they're trying to work out what it means.
Yep.
So, just, although that's a little bit of data, think of the implications of what you've just read there.
Well, it's pretty heavy stuff.
This would be serious stuff. This is, yeah, I won't tell you any more than that. You have to work the rest of it out, but it does sound very serious stuff and extremely high level stuff.
Yeah.
It involves the TGU Navy. It involves the attaché from the NSFS for culture and all the other bits and pieces. Yeah.
What was the second one? Sorry, the TGU Navy and the
NSFS. So the TGU is the Triplanetary Government Union, which is Terra, New Commonwealth, and Orient. The NSFS is the Near Space Frontier Service, the one that you are currently employed by.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, cool.
Okay, so that's some of the stuff you sort of. There's some big movers and shakers going on. Yeah, and apparently there are 7 sites, and there's a site on Earth codenamed Atlantis, whatever that means.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and you know there's some site on Eden, and there's definitely a site on Altair.
Yep.
So there are 4 other sites somewhere else that humans have explored.
Yep. Alrighty. After reading that amount, she shuts the computer down, feeling even more paranoid.
Right.
And has a fairly sleepless night worrying.
Okay.
I'd imagine.
Rightio. Will, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. P says yeah, because his character was called Will.
Wrong old character.
Yeah, wrong character. Sorry, Pierre, but that was great training. Will, so what is Michael doing amongst all of this? Hey, the information, apart from that last little bit that Yui's been doing on her own, he's aware of all the other stuff. You weren't here when she got into the red file, I don't believe. And from the red file, she was able to tell you that humans aren't a race of themselves. Humans are in some way a branch of the Varashai.
Alright, does that resonate or mean much to me?
Can you, Manta, can you put the link back into the game where the picture of them are? You can have a look at them. And the Vash are a new race that humanity have just sort of discovered in the last 10 so years, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Apparently we come from them.
Well, get a load of them. We've been genetically engineered to cut down on dental costs, probably.
Definitely.
So at the moment, I'm out of game. I'm still trying to just completely catch up and follow. But where exactly are we? Like en route somewhere?
So you've been picked up from the station. You jumped into space, back into Arcadia space. The only thing that Yui has told you also is that you are jumping back into Arcadian space in a different place. It's a significant distance from your original jump point. General sort of process would have you jumping back into your general area where you jumped out from, because that is like it's the safest space you can jump into, unless you know of any astronomical unit or other ship that's going to be there, which is highly unlikely. Given that it's a frontier world, it would technically, if that's a safe place to jump from, it technically, because it's only a short space of time that's gone past, would technically be a safe space to jump back into, which is a little bit odd that they've done this.
So they're taking us somewhere weird. And just to mention as well, we wasn't here on the session before.
Oh, right.
So basically, they sent us up to this orbiting station that was like its orbit was all messed up and it had no gravity, and we went in there and stabilized it. And then we found a bunch of crazy stuff on the computer about all this fast stuff. It's like ultra high level, secrecy stuff. And then we wanted to hook up some amplifier to your character, and it would have been glorious, but you weren't here. I feel like it was the kind of thing you would have done, being you, but we were going to shock you and then laugh, basically. But yeah.
Unless it burnt you to a crisp, and then they were going to cry to you, then laugh, and then laugh.
And then shoot the body out the airlock.
Yeah, that's right.
Evidence.
It was here when we got here. Sorry, Pierre.
We didn't know what it did.
No.
When we don't know what something does, we hook up the missing player to it. That's obviously what we do.
Yeah. We just came into the room and he was like that. He must have done it himself.
Exactly. Well, Mantar's onto Greenwire now, so.
Austin's learning.
Yeah. It's
riveting
stuff.
Well, does Yui have any idea, based on the navigation, because I assume would she have been navigating? Does she have any idea where they're actually where we're jumping to?
She knows it's somewhere else in Arcadia space. She doesn't really, because she hasn't had a chance to sort of really look at any sort of charts or anything in great detail. It feels like it's about a quarter of the way around the system. If you had the system as you're on top of it looking at it like a clock face, you sort of travelled about 45 degrees around that clock face.
Alrighty. Well,
it's a significant
going to be heading
place.
To somewhere new or somewhere where they're going to scorch our Earth, one or the other.
Yeah. The reason Yui has brought that up, Will, is because in part of the red file they found was anyone who has access to this information was going to have the scorched earth procedural process completed on them.
Jesus.
Whatever
she
that
has like
means.
A hand computer full of all the information.
Yeah. And her and Donovan are the only two that have actually looked in it, but they've shared information with you guys.
Well.
Yeah. So we've condemned you all to death. Well, Yui has anyway. Or, having your earth scorched, whatever that means.
I can't say it'd be pleasant.
So.
In the meantime, if we just send jump, I'll just be trying to make myself useful and just ascertain what's going on the ship. Probably happy to be back in space. Don't know how long I've been there, but.
Okay, can you give me a 2d6 plus your intelligence bonus or penalty if you have one?
2d6 plus. Let's see. Intelligence. Intelligence is +2.
Okay. Yep. Okay. No. Okay. As you're walking around doing stuff, that's all cool. Yep. So it's just business as usual. Okay. So finally, Yui, you know the ship's about to jump back in, but you haven't been called up to be navigator. Interesting.
Okay.
Kind of interesting.
I report to the cockpit expecting to be.
You can't get into the cockpit.
Okay. Damn it. We're all gonna die. No, she just goes back to her quarters and shuts the door.
Okay. Well, you're sure it was somebody, but probably someone from the group because it's all double gold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's very much thinking of smashing a hand computer, but at the last minute decides against it.
Okay. So, yep. So there's
maybe not. Maybe I should smash it. No, continue on.
Okay. Do you want to place it in her nether region again, or?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. Right, everyone, you hear the usual change in sort of thrum of the engines, changing down. You would be realizing that you've entered real space again. There's no opportunity to look outside to see what the stars like or anything, Yui, because there's only basically one place on the ship that actually has any sort of viewport, and that is in the cockpit itself. So you've definitely come out into real space. The ship's moving.
How many other people besides us are on the ship?
A team of 12.
12 besides us, or
all
12
together,
including us?
All together. So there's you 5 and another 7.
We can take him if it comes down to that. All right.
Well,
anyway,
I communicate. I want to communicate to Yui that maybe it was some sort of test, and we were supposed to report the thing. Maybe this was all like a big sort of Kobayashi Maru setup. Maybe we were supposed to report it.
But if it's not, then we're dead. And if it is, then we just failed a test.
Good point.
So I don't know. I'd rather fail a test than potentially have my Earth scorched.
Okay. But it's something to think about, isn't it? Okay. So.
Well,
yeah.
As far as they know, we didn't find the files in the first place. So if it was a test and we were supposed to find them and report them, we've already failed it.
Yep.
As far as they know.
Okay, so about half an hour after you enter real space, everyone's called to meet in the common room. Can you
At
give
first
me an
glance?
Yeah. Just before you get there, can Michael give me another 2d6 roll, please, plus his whatever it was he had.
Intelligence, yes, sir.
Okay, as you're getting nearer to the common room, you do notice that other portals are being locked. The common room does not exit onto the airlock, in case you're wondering.
Alrighty, so is this a military vessel we're on?
Sorry, say that again?
Is this a military ship we're on, or?
It's an unusual ship, is all I can tell you.
If back in my 7 terms in the bloody Navy,
Yep.
if I had have locked the doors like that, why would I have done that?
Several reasons. If you're in space and you're under fire in case of explosive decompression, it could be a security lockdown. Usually you do a silent lockdown. It's usually done if you're being boarded by pirates, but you usually know that because there's lots of fire before then.
Do we all have our weapons and stuff on us, or are we just in civvy clothes?
Pretty much in your civvy clothes. People don't tend to carry weapons. They're all locked up in the ship's locker.
I do carry my ornate sword with me at all times, right?
Probably the day you have it.
Yeah, sure.
He is a security officer, so.
I'm a security officer. I'm obsessed with it. Now I'll sit there. My hand will be kind of resting on the hilt and twitching a bit, but I'll.
Yep.
And I might like tap on someone if there's no.
He's caressing his sword and he says, "The time of judgment is at hand." whip. But I would have given back my snub pistol, so I think we're unarmed except for his sword.
Yeah. All right.
And your tranquilizers.
What about our own slug pistols?
They would all be in a ship's locker. Standard operation. Any weapons, unless you happen to be the owner of the ship, you don't get to carry weapons, unless you're security and you've got certain rules around that.
Yeah.
So you meet in the common room. What's your question, Yuri? So that's everybody.
Before I even enter the common room, I'm just going to glance in. Does anyone like, besides us that is on the ship, do any of them seem armed at all?
No.
All right. Oh, I just enter then and sit down next to Michael.
Right. Okay. Well, sorry. Yeah, the answer is yes, and it's Michael's the only one that seems to have a sword.
Yeah. All right. I sit down next to him.
Yep. So finally, the captain comes in and closes the common room door. He says, "So we've got some pretty serious stuff to talk about. It would seem that we've been compromised."
Compromised, you say? Oh, sweating profusely.
I still don't know
Anyway,
where this is leading.
Continue.
I don't know where this is leading.
Yeah.
Compromised how?
Over dramatically.
It would seem that certain pieces of data and information have not had their security maintained, and that means that certain pieces of said information are now running free in the universe, and that's not allowed.
Oh God, I'm dead.
So Mike kind of stands up and says, "Tell us what you want to do. How can we help find these culprits?"
Well, he says, putting it pretty clearly, out of this ship of 12 people, 7 of them were on the planet's surface, and 5 of them were on the space station. And the information was on the space station.
So what he's basically saying is that it was one of us, and what are the chances that he's going to believe that whoever did it, which obviously was me, didn't tell anybody about the information?
Who knows?
I mean, you can try and tell them that, you know, I was the only one who did it. Whether they're going to believe that, you know, if you think that might save you, then go ahead and do it. But
how are we communicating that? Are we like using special hand signals? Like, take the fall for us, please. Like that's a hand signal, and
or passing notes.
You.
Well, you should know Yui well enough that like you should know Yui well enough that like if you try to say that she didn't tell you anything, she's not going to be like, I told them all. Like she'll take the fall if you know.
Mike,
if they're
are
gonna
you
believe
taking
that,
the fall, Yui?
Mike's just gone silent, but he's still he's gonna have to try pounce and save his skin and such if it comes to that. He's mentally preparing himself.
It's like a communist regime. I've been led astray by bad companions, bad comrades.
So the captain just stands there and waits, looking purposefully at each one of you, and then his eyes sort of rest on Yui. I believe you have some computer skill.
Now that you mention it, we're a bit preoccupied with this amplifying device, but I completely forgot to mention that I copied some files to my hand computer that I haven't accessed or read at all.
So he looks over at someone, one of the other people, and they just shake their head and look on their face like, no, she's telling you a lie.
Okay, well,
he says, I seem to have information to suggest that you did look at these files.
I see. Okay, I did look at the files.
Right. Anyone else looked at these files?
I don't read too good.
Oh, you bastard.
So he looks over the person, and the person nods. So you didn't see the files.
While we had the chance.
Yeah. Turn it up to full. I'll amplify you, you bugger. So he says, I'm going to ask one last time. Anyone else look at these files?
Yui stands up and says, it was only me that looked at the files. They were all in other sections.
And that person sort of does their hand in their head in again. The captain says, this would go so much easier if you just tell the truth. Now it might hurt somebody. So unless that person or persons want to stand up to say they have read the files now, we don't have to do this with hurting anyone.
Out of game, I
Yep.
didn't read the files, did I?
No, there's only 2 people
Cool.
that have actually seen them.
Oh, no worries.
A small bead of sweat forms on Donovan's forehead that grows to the size of a golf ball. Very Japanese.
Yeah. Ostrom volunteers. I heard something about the Varsh, but it sounded like silly nonsense.
That's going to be my next question. Who else knows about the file information?
I'll just, at this point, getting a read on the situation, say that admit to hearing about the information, and also say that does everyone in the group here know about it?
I'm pretty sure actually when we first accessed it, it wasn't like the grey 300 stuff, but it was the lower stuff. A few other people were in the room when we first accessed that, I think, but I don't think they actually read it. They were just like, wow, there's files that are, top secret. And,
yeah, but everyone in this room.
But since then, you have been sharing some information.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, I'll say that we've all heard pieces, but, Judging
by the level of secrecy, I don't think they're going to take. Well, Yui wouldn't. She's worried about all you guys because she doesn't think that they're going to take the chance that you don't know anything when we've been together for however long.
What if they've shared anything? Knowing what we know?
Well, there you go.
The guy shaking his head.
Donovan is not saying anything. Donovan's the real culprit. He's not saying anything.
Right. All right. So the captain says, "We're not going to plan on doing any physical harm to you or try to kill you right now. We just want to know who knows what."
Okay.
So I've fessed up to what I know.
And they don't seem to be doing anything overtly violent or coercive towards Will, to Michael, sorry.
Yui stands up and says, she probably wouldn't say this, but you should probably escalate me to grey 300 now because I've read pretty much everything.
Oh, the magic word.
So Donovan's sort of going to put his hand in his heads in his hands and just shake them. And
no, I don't want to betray any external reaction. Like this guy talking about not harming people. Yeah. I think Dr. Goebbels liked dogs and was kind to children. So what?
Okay, so that golf ball that's now the size of a basketball on your head.
I wipe it away with a gym towel.
Well, Yui was assuming they would find everything on her hand computer, but for a second she forgot that one file she couldn't actually download. So, she's kind of stepped in it here. But, that's what she says. She's expecting to be summarily executed. So,
okay. So the captain says then, so we have very limited options at this point. I assume if you've read coded 300 plus, you'll understand the procedure that we need to do next.
I understand the name of it.
Anybody else know the name of it? No? Yep, they did. They checked the computers. Okay, so the captain says, well, for those of you who might want to know a little bit more about Scorched Earth, the name is a bit misleading, but it's put there just in case someone like you does get involved in this file that contains that sort of information.
Pretty terrifying red herring.
So we're not going to kill you, but you only have two choices.
And they are?
You can undergo a mind wipe. Or you can work for us.
I choose the second option.
Yep.
Yeah, someone's got a little bit.
It wouldn't take me very long. Yeah, I hear something, but I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, it's like a.
There's some sound, but it's not any of us. Is there crosstalk on a Google Hangouts line? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. Probably. It's the last farewell fire at us before they cut it off. Anyway, so you say I'm happy to go for the second. Is anyone else saying anything else?
Yeah, Michael sighs and says, "Got nothing better to do. I'll come work for you guys if you have me."
Donovan, who's been super quiet all this time, and of course, Ostrom and Gregory.
Yeah. Ostrom's down.
Right, and Gregory and Donovan. Well, this is where you get to decide for Gregory, Pierre. What would he do?
Oh, he doesn't know anything about what's going on. He found an odd device in engineering. That's the only extent of his guilt.
That and the fact that he knows about the Vash.
He was actually one of them that was pretty interested in the whole thing. Like he was actively telling Yui to try and continue cracking files and stuff. So I mean, I'm not going to speak for his character, but
yeah,
I assume
Pierre gets that
involved.
Duty.
Yeah, yeah.
No, as much as possible, Gregory plays dumb. He wants to go back to his whatever his major work was.
Okay.
I got to read his sheet again. I'm not familiar with it, but he wants to play dumb, and Donovan still wants to play dumb. If they want to recruit us in the spook force, well, that's their business. They got all the guns we can't resist.
No, they don't seem to have guns.
Wait, so are they offering them the choice between the mind wipe and working?
Yeah.
Or are they just...
You got two
choices.
choices.
So it's two choices for everyone, okay.
But only one good one.
So they say, unless you told us you're quite happy to come work for us, we guess you're choosing the mind wipe. And then look at Donovan and Gregory.
I guess I want to work for them.
Okay.
Gregory wants to work for them. We're going to be recruits.
Okay, so
until we get bored and walk away, of course.
That you can't. Once you so one of the people who's just been nodding their head says to you, Donovan, no, you don't just get to walk away. Before you haven't even worded it, you just thought it.
No.
Yeah. Do we get cool secret agent numbers?
No, you don't.
Oh.
You will get a clearance level, but that's about it.
All right.
Okay. So they are going to take you to a location where you will be
23.5.
No, point two. They will take you to a location where you will be orientated. Nice word, isn't it? So I'm going to cut through the travel and get you down to the base itself. So this is a great. So the whole organization, as far as you can tell, is an organization that is a branch of the NSFS, and part of the information you'll learn that this branch has been in existence for a wee while. It's called the Grey Sector, and its job is to do everything in the grey areas of life that you can't do in the light areas of life. to ensure that the human race survives and thrives. Sometimes that will mean that you have to cull the herd. Sometimes that means you will have to do other things. But yeah, the moral code and the ethics are, as the name suggests, very grey. There is no such thing as a grade. There's only security levels. At the moment, while you're training, you're what's known as grade 10s, and that's as far as you go. Once you actually get out and to do some work for them, you will be going up in on what you need to do is what you need to know, and your security level is adjusted to that. You will be take an oath. There's several things that happen. You're going to be trained in this grey sector for the next 6 months. What that means is, first of all, you all get some new 0 level skills, and you also get to choose a couple of new skills, and plus, Donovan, you'll learn a bit more about psionics, because everyone's going to be tested. Yep, so you go through a whole lot of schooling. So you're learning spyware, you're learning a whole lot of things, but if you want to have a look at your skill sheet, and I'll go through this again with Jerry, is that if you don't have these skills, or if you do have them at 0, they don't increase, they are only at level 0. So if you've already got it at level 0 or higher, you don't get any benefit from it. But you all get admin 0.
Alrighty. Yep.
Computer 0. Streetwise 0. Bribery 0. Leadership 0.
Yep.
You have to pick a type of vehicle 0. So if you've already got a vehicle, some vehicles at 0, you can pick another one at 0. Because I think there's about 4 different types of vehicle that you can choose from. So everyone's got to pick a different type, pick a vehicle subtype. Then the next one is easy. You're trained in you gain a level in either gun combat or melee combat. So if you have gun combat, I would suggest you get a level in melee combat, so you are a weapon whether you have a gun or not.
So is this, if you've got a 0 in like a bludgeoning weapon and you've got a 0 in other gun combat, do you still get a plus to add, or?
If you choose either gun combat or melee combat. Yep. If you have a gun combat skill.
Yep.
Then, because everyone gets gun combat 0 in all the guns that were technologically and lawfully in their planet.
Okay.
But you don't get that. You get brawling 0, which I think is natural weapons in this system. But there are other melee things. But so basically, you want to round your character out, not specialize any further.
It's not adding a point to a thing, it's making another thing a 0, yeah?
It's making it a level. This gun or melee you're actually gaining a level skill in the training. Okay. So if you've got lots your character's got lots of stuff in blade, you should really be putting yours in a gun combat thing. Or in no weapons at all. Because you've got to think, you are going to be, basically your training is you're going to be put in places where you might not have a lot of resources. You have to become MacGyver-like, James Bond-like, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so natural weapons would be brawling or anything you can pick up. If you're... so sorry, what things are a 0 from where we came from? Already?
That's your home skills, your background skills.
Oh, do you reckon we're working for these guys, they're going to actually give us an energy pistol potentially if we ask for one?
It's not what they can do for you. It's what you're going to do for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will. I'm investing in that. Oh. All right.
Right. After that, after you've picked your new combat skill, either a melee subtype or a gun subtype, then you get to choose one other level 1 skill out of this list, and there's only 5 things in here. Okay, so either you get athletics 1, or if you've got athletics, you can improve it by 1. Carousing 1, or if you've got carousing, improve it by 1. Streetwise 1, if you've got streetwise, improve it by 1. Recon, again, improve it by 1 if you've got it. Or survival, improve it by 1 if you've already got it.
What is carousing?
Yeah.
Carousing is the general getting along with other people, being able to talk, mix with them. You might be able to get a bit of information out of them. Streetwise is about understanding the sort of street culture, and also getting to, it's less about interfacing one to one, and it's more about getting knowledge about the movers and shakers. So carousing would be the I'm trying to use my friendship to get information or get you to do something for me. Streetwise is I can identify the various areas, I can identify the people I need to go see, I can get a name of a contact I might need. And then you've also got the leadership skill, which is that's applied to groups. So I might be able to rally a group of people to suddenly have a forced march and do something. You know what I mean? It's more like a inspirational thing that you can do.
Leadership wasn't an option on that list just then, was it?
It was a 0 level skill you got.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I might take carousing, I guess. I've already got 1, so I'll take carousing 2.
If you want to, but I mean, again, this is about rounding your character out.
No, actually, on that point, what does athletics do? Does it make it for how weak I am?
Like jump and climb and run, and increases a little bit of your endurance to do those sort of things. So flips and all that sort of stuff, jumping from, it's all the physical sort of athletical stuff, and it gives you a better chance of actually succeeding at that stuff.
And survival.
Survival allows you to survive in the wild. Able to find where the potable water is, what to use to make a fire, what's generally going to not kill you by eating it, what also you want to run away from so it doesn't eat you.
I think I'll take 1 athletics, even though I'm a crippled old man. Is that alright?
That's fine. You're not a crippled old man, you're just an old man who's got athletics. That's all cool.
No worries.
Yep. Now, how many... Oh, sorry, I didn't finish that, did I? So, sorry. Keep going, guys, keep going. I've got to do a die roll. Several die rolls. So, Mentor, how are you going with your choices? You're all good?
I think I'm going to put 1 into bludgeon, melee bludgeon.
Right.
I'm still deciding on the vehicle. I've already got wheeled vehicle.
Okay.
But I'm kind of torn on the +1 skill. I've got 1 in athletics and survival and streetwise already. I could bump one of those to a 2. And a 2 in athletics with his massive strength would be really nice. But I could also bump my 0s in carousing streetwise or recon up. Yeah. I think
I was actually wondering if anyone else had if anyone else had streetwise. So if you're going to get streetwise, if you end up doing that, Mantar, just let us know, because that might affect what I would want to do.
Yeah, I've got 1 point. Maybe I should do 2, and that would make me pretty good at it.
Because if you do that, I'll put 1 in carousing, and I'll have carousing 2, and then I can talk to people one-on-one, and you can gather street information.
Yeah, there we go. That sounds pretty good. I'll do that streetwise then.
All right, cool.
All right, and then for vehicle,
and Pierre, sorry. Oh, you got the vehicle. Tracked. Okay, cool. Pierre, what are you doing? If you're talking Pierre, I think you might be muted.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Of my 0 skills, I'm adding those I didn't have 0 before, and vehicle 0 is going to be tracked vehicle.
Cool.
And of the big 5 to add 1 to, let me see which of those 5 skills I would pick. Let me see. I'm going to go for survival if nobody else wants to be the survival expert.
Mario. And the combat skill?
Since I don't have didn't have any melee combat yet, I'll pick melee, but you got to choose a particular.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose a particular.
Yeah, natural, puncturing, bludgeoning, or slashing, I think, are the 4 things.
Oh, okay. So just pick one of those in the drop down.
Yep.
I just got a question about that, Steve.
Yep.
Like, if you've got a -3 in, you would start with a -3 in a new melee branch. Does adding the +1 take it to a 1 like it would when you make your character, or does it take it to a -2?
These give you, if it's a new skill, it's a level 1 skill you've got. You're getting a completely new skill.
All right,
Yep.
cool.
Yep. And if you've already got the skill, it's either if it's a 0 level, it's taking it to a 1. If it's a 1, it's taking it to a 2. Or
alrighty.
Or whatever permutation you've got.
Now, when I'm training in either gun combat or melee combat, does that give me a 0 or a 1?
Those are level 1 skills you're getting. You're getting 1 combat skill and 1 of the 5 that I just read out.
Okay, so I'll take natural weapons 1.
Cool. Okay. So punching and kicking and headbutting and all that sort of stuff. Sweet. Okay, guys. So, and I'll just give Jerry the same options what he wants to pick. So the other thing I need to do, and Jerry's going to be the one who's left over with whatever. I need you to roll a d5, and whoever rolls first is the person I'm going to go through first. So everyone get to roll a d5.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Who was that? Who rolled the 1?
That was me.
You, Ostrom.
Ostrom.
Okay. And Yui, you roll the 4. And
I'm going to roll for Gregory.
Donovan rolled the... Is that your score though, Donovan?
Yeah, I'm changing the name, you see. So those are the scores.
Okay. Right, okay. Well, or should I say Michael? Okay, so Ostrom, how many terms, not including the 6 months, have you served in any branches?
I believe 2.
2. Okay.
Let me check. I was a drifter, and then I entered the hunters, and yeah.
That's it. Okay, cool. Okay. And Michael, how many turns were you in wherever you were in?
I was in the Navy, and I'm trying to look where I've written it down, because I did write everything down.
Yeah.
So, shit, didn't I?
It was a fair amount. I don't know whether it's 4 or 5.
I'm 46. Far out.
46, take away 18, would give us 28 divided by 4, would give us 9, which is not right. No, would give us 7.
What rank did you end up as, Will?
Captain.
Was it captain? Captain. So that would tell you how many terms he's done.
No, because I didn't advance a bunch of times.
Yeah. So you're 48.
Oh, right.
So you're 46 minus that much gives us that. The 28. Yeah, it's 28 years you've been in services. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So you've been in 7 terms. Okay, 7 terms. Cool. Yui, how many terms have you served?
I think it was 4. I'm not sure if I didn't advance any times though. Do you remember, Will, whether there were any times I didn't advance? Pretty sure I advanced each time.
I'm pretty sure you didn't advance at least.
Yeah, how old is your character, Yui?
34.
34. Okay, take away 18. What's that give me? 16. 4 terms.
Yeah, so I advanced each time because I got to first officer.
Okay, and Donovan, how many turns were you in?
I was 1 term scientist, 1 term Marines, then got wounded in my 2nd term with the Marines.
That is brutal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rightio. And Gregory, I'm not sure how many he would have hopefully put in how many terms he was in.
He says he's age 30, so that would be like 3 terms.
3 terms. Okay. Alrighty. Well, okay. You now all...
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
His terms are written in there.
And it's 3 terms?
Yeah, it was
Sweet.
1 aerospace defense, 2 as a belter.
Okay. Okay, so now the big one. So I'll start with Michael because he's only got 2. He's got the possibility of only having 2 psi points. So Michael, can you give me? So we're going to roll to see if you can gain any psionic, because they're going to try to also train you to use any psionic ability you may or may not have.
Well.
So the first thing I need to tell you is, as you go through, you can try for all of them, but as you go through, each one you try next gains a minus. It's a penalty to you of 1. Each one of them also has its own die modifier. So some people can min-max if they want to. So like the easiest one, the teleportation has no die modifier. So you've got to hit an 8 or more to say I've learnt it. Then awareness has a +1 modifier. So obviously that might be a second one because you lose that +1 because you've already tried for teleportation. Telekinesis has a +2, clairvoyance has a +3, and telepathy has a +4. If you only really want to go for one to make sure you get one, then you should choose that first. If you want to try to get as many as you can, that would be the order that would favour you the most, but it really depends on what you want to do.
Alright.
You only have 2 psi points, which is not going to give you a shitload in most things, if you're successful. So I'm just looking to see. Yeah. So telekinesis is going to be almost next to useless for you.
Yep.
Teleportation gives you a very, very slight. You can teleport just a little bit, but that might be useful. It might not be.
Like a couple feet or a couple inches type thing.
Range. Let's have a look.
See. Looks like you can hit up to 50 meters with 2 points.
Well, only if he's only if he's unclothed and he's not taking anything with him. Yeah. But that might be. 59 has. Yeah, that might be enough to up to 50 meters. Might be enough to you to get out of danger. It's more of an emergency sort
meters.
Of. Yeah. 50 meters is pretty good. 150 feet.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah. Page 59 has a list of range of costs.
What type of dice do I have to roll?
I'm rolling. Well, you're going to be rolling. I'm rolling them. Sorry. You're rolling them. I'm adding the penalties and stuff. So you're rolling 2d6, and you've got to hit an 8 or more.
Okay.
Passes. So in the Cepheus engine, the one I've got by Moon Toad, if you've got that one, I think that's one I got in the Dropbox. Page 39 is the learning die modifiers for the talent, and then the cost for range is on page 40. You'll have a whole list of abilities, but depending on your points, I mean the one that you actually are going to be able to do the most with is probably awareness. You can sign.
I'll go for awareness first, then, and then after that, I'll go in order from easiest to hardest.
Easiest to hardest. Okay.
But awareness first.
Okay, awareness first. So awareness gives you a +1. So it's your first one. So we're rolling 2d6 +1. So this roll you need to get an 8 or more to get awareness, and if you fail you can't go back and get it. Ready? Yep. Here we go. You have awareness at level 0.
Sweet.
So then it's going to be easiest, so you're going for like the easiest ones, the ones with the biggest adjustment first.
Yeah, there's no benefit to me not getting anything, is there?
Telekinesis, you probably don't have enough power to do anything with it.
at all.
No. So telekinesis, you can lift something with 10 grams up to 1.5 meters away from you.
Jesus, that is really low.
Yep. So a key or a data stick or something is probably your limit.
Yeah, no, don't worry
Slightly
about that
useful,
one.
but not much.
What are the other two?
Well, if you now go for teleportation, that's done with a -1. If you go for clairvoyance, that's done with a +2. If you go for telepathy, that's done with a +3.
I'll go for teleportation. Might be randomly useful one day.
Well, it's an escape anyway, so you need 8 or more. Here we go. Nope.
Nope.
No teleportation.
Alright, and then I'll
clairvoyance
go.
is now a +1, and telepathy is now a +2.
I'll go for telepathy and then clairvoyance.
You have telepathy at level 0, and you have a straight roll for clairvoyance, and you have clairvoyance at level 0.
Nice.
So if you've got the Moon Toad book on page 40, it starts telling you about some of the things you can do. So with your awareness, you can sonically enhance your strength or endurance up to 2 points. You can do some sort of regeneration. I'm not sure how long that goes for. Oh no, you can regenerate yourself. You can regen your lost hit points or your lost stats or whatever. Yeah, so that's what you can do with awareness. Is you're allowed to sort of control your body a bit.
What does the cost mean?
The cost is how many sonic points it's going to cost you to use it. So he'll never be able to go into suspended animation just because it costs 3. He's only got 2, unless you can find some way to sonically enhance or amplify his ability. Ooh, amplify. Okay.
Ooh, amplify.
Okay, so
back to the station.
Yeah, that's what you've got. Okay, Michael. So that's you. So I'll go down to Ostrom. You've got 4 psionic points, strength. Just so you know, that means anything could be useful to you in some in smaller ways and some in bigger ways. What did you want to start off with? Did you want to try to go for specialize in some things and then try to go afterwards?
Let's try the big one, teleportation first.
Okay. Unfortunately not.
Ah, darn. Okay, then let's go with telekinesis.
Telekinesis, that's on a +1. Yes.
Got it.
Telekinesis 0.
Okay. Alright, then I guess awareness next.
Okay, awareness is at a -1 at this level.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Just missed. Just missed. Okay. And then
+3 this next one.
telepathy next, and then clairvoyance I guess last.
Telepathy next, that's a +1 at this level. Yes, you have telepathy. And clairvoyance, that is a -1 at this level.
On high roll.
Yes, you've got it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
And you have 4 sonic points, just so you know. So you can do suspended animation and some other bits and pieces.
So let's see. That means I got telepathy, telekinesis, and clairvoyance, right?
And yeah, you missed out on awareness and teleportation.
And teleportation. Sadly, that would have been cool.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Pierre, you have. Oh, sorry. You and Yui both have 7 psionic points. When you power your abilities, you have 7. So either one of you can go first.
Yeah, you go first. I'm still wrapping my head around which order.
Yep.
Yeah, I was still writing my skills everywhere.
Sorry.
Is this going to go in the sheet where it says psionic strength?
Yep.
7?
7.
Okay, and What does that imply for the rolls I'm supposed to make?
Well, it gives you how much power you've got to power any sonic ability you end up getting.
Okay.
Yeah, but you've still got to decide what you want to do. So, as I said, the teleportation is the hardest one to get because it doesn't give you a bonus to try to get it. And then every one after that you get a cumulative -1 on the die roll. Some of them will give you pluses on the die roll. Like telepathy is the easiest one at a +4 it starts off with. So you can play the game of going teleportation, awareness, clairvoyance, telekinesis, telepathy, because they tend to balance each other out a little bit, but you don't get much in the way of bonuses. Unless you've got a particular power there that you really, really want.
Okay, let me see.
That one first.
Okay, so I'm at page 39 in the Cepheus engine where this is laid out.
Yep, the moon toad thingy. Yep. So you've got to hit an 8 or more to get the power.
Okay, let me see. So if I try for telepathy first, is it a straight roll?
It's a 2d6 +4.
Okay.
And the next one will have a -1 plus any bonuses that the rest of are.
Okay.
So,
telepathy, trying for...
are you going to go for telepathy first?
Yeah.
D's rolling for us, I think.
Yeah, that's okay. So telepathy first. I'm going to... telepathy, fine. You got telepathy, and what's your next one? I'll roll all the rest. I'm just doing all the math for you, that's all.
Okay, let's see.
-1.
-1 on awareness roll.
Okay, so that's just a straight flat roll. You've got awareness.
Okay, telepathy, awareness.
Yep, -2 on the next roll. What do you want to go for next?
Let's see, and there's no characteristic plus that will help me here.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll forget the physical type skills. I'm going to go for clairvoyance.
Okay, so that's a +1. You have clairvoyance. So you got the top. You got awareness, clairvoyance, and telepathy. You're at a -4 on the next roll.
-1, 2, -3, is it?
So the first one...
let's see. First one was plain. -1 on clairvoyance. Well, -1 when I rolled awareness,
so
-2 when I rolled
telepathy was the
clairvoyance.
first one, so it's a -3 at the moment. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So the first one's at a -3.
So next -3. Well, the teleportation.
You going to go for that one?
Yeah.
Nope.
And the last one, -4.
Is telepathy?
For telepathy. No, I had telepathy. The other one is telekinesis.
Ah, okay. So
that's what's
actually,
remaining.
Yeah, sorry. -2 because it's got a +2. And you definitely don't have telekinesis.
Okay, so I'll let
if you tried to do that, your brain would leave by the left ear.
I'll let Will bang things around then. Little keys and metal objects.
Awesome. Okay, I don't think Will's got it either. Oh no, Michael didn't.
Will doesn't have it.
Yep. Okay, rightio,
okay.
Matt.
Okay.
How do you want to do it? Is there a particular talent that you really, really want?
I kind of want to end up with telepathy.
Well, that's the +4 one.
Yeah, so I probably won't try that first.
Okay.
That's the easiest one to do. So
yeah,
but you can still get really bad rolls. But you ready?
Yeah. I will try. Wait.
You've got telepathy.
What did I try for then?
Telepathy.
Okay. All right.
You got it.
All right. I'll go for teleportation.
Okay, so this is at a -1, I believe. Hang on. That's actually a -1, not a +1, but that's still an 8, which means you've got teleportation.
All right. 1 second.
The next one's at a -2 plus any bonuses.
I will go for clairvoyance. Hang on.
Done?
Yeah, Dynasty
You've got it?
clairvoyance. Yeah. Alright.
Next one is at a -3 plus any bonuses.
I will
Hang on.
go for.
Stupid things there.
Wait, so I've got clairvoyance. Next one I will go for is, I guess, awareness.
Awareness?
Wait, what have I got? I've got that. Yeah, awareness. Yeah, and then telekinesis.
Nope, no awareness.
Yep.
-4 plus 2 telekinesis. Man, you have telekinesis.
Alright. You roll.
They were. And I'll let Jerry choose whatever he wants. So how this works, guys, is you've got to have the points to power it, depending on the power you choose and the range, if it's a ranged power that you want. Does everyone have telepathy? I think everyone does. Yep. The shield on telepathy is considered to be on all the time. If it is on all the time, you can't use any of your other telepathic abilities, but it does help protect you from a telepathic assault. It doesn't make you immune. It just means that you have an extra saving throw. You save against your power versus they save versus their power. Whoever wins, if you win, they didn't get the damage to you. If they win, they actually do damage you, sort of thing. So it's a bit of a contested thing. Whereas if you didn't have a shield, it's just whatever damage they chuck at you. That's it. You're done. Okay, so that's about the only thing you really need to know about shield. And so you are trained to never leave your shield down unless you need to use life detection, teleempathy, to read the surface thoughts, send thoughts, or probe, or assault people with your telepathy. And you'll see under telepathy the abilities and the tables on how much it costs. So for Yui or Donovan, if you've got telepathy, that means that you guys can attack somebody from up to 5 kilometers away. With a probe, you can probe their mind.
With a probe,
None of you can assault somebody unless you can somehow amplify your abilities. Because you need an 8 for that.
How are psionic powers determined? Is it just random, or?
It's just what we did. You get tested, which you've done, and they try to train you. If you had failed in everything, it would have meant that you had no psionic ability.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you guys just happen to either pick up one or several.
Cool.
So what you're looking for is there are some drugs that can increase temporarily psionic strength, and you've probably already worked out there's also equipment that can increase your psionic strength. So and there are other psionic abilities that are not there at the moment. There's like mechanical kinesis, which means you can get devices to change its structure and form. So you turn a car into like a transformer sort of thing, or a microwave into a weapon, microwave oven into a weapon that can shoot out microwaves. It's got to maintain the same sort of idea behind it, but you can change its function. You can change its form, but the function's got to be the same. So a microwave oven shoots out microwaves, so it's not going to shoot out bullets. But you could change it into a microwave gun or something. But that's another form of psionics. There's lots of different forms of psionics, but these are the most common ones. And I'm going to secretly roll to see if any of you do have a really rare form of psionics. And if you do, I'll be informing you by email. But I haven't done that yet, because I didn't know if anybody got anything at that point. So, At that point, yeah, mind bullets. At that point, it's sort of been 6 months, so you can add 6 months onto it. You are now all considered grey 50s. You have been slightly elevated, that's your security clearance, slightly elevated because of your other knowledge, which you have been sworn to not expose to anyone. You have also all been fitted with a little cyber chip unit. So the cyber chip unit does several things. You can activate it to mind wipe yourself. It won't kill you, but you'll completely mind wipe yourself. You can use it to chip yourself with one special skill that you need. This is the world of cyberware you're getting into. Also, it is a way, they don't tell you how, but this particular, because this cyber chip is actually an organic device, so it doesn't read as a chipware item itself. So basically, behind your ear there is a small flap of skin that you pull up and you insert the small dot chip that will contain this. That's why you can't have a whole lot of skills. It can only contain one skill. Like, it might be a language, it might be a specialized skill that you need for a specialized task, but it's just one skill, and it ranges from 1 to level 4. Basically, it's going to give you either a bonus of 1 to 4. But that's about the cyberware that you got at the moment. So the other thing I need to roll now is at random. I'm just going to do it at random, and so I'm just going to go on the list. So Ostrom, you have a cyber factor of 3. So should you cyber chip yourself or cyber wear yourself any further, so this cyber chip has a cyber factor of 0.5. Okay. As we get into cyberware, if you want to do that, that's entirely up to you. This game is going to sort of go into all sorts of different areas. If you ever go over 3, you might then engage in cyber psychosis, which is not, as it sounds, it's not good. You sort of lose your humanity, you become mad and a machine, and that depends. You know, it depends. You're not automatically a homicidal maniac killing everything. It could be that you become this genius plotter planner, and you know you're going to do things that way to wipe out. You have a very irrational target sort of thing. It might be suddenly anyone who's Asian, or anyone who's under the age of 15, or anyone who wears a hat. We'll roll it at the
Ostrom's
time.
Not, Ostrom doesn't have a really good grip, so so sounds about right.
So that leaves you some room for some cyberware if you want to later on, but not much. But so you know, everyone, if you put down your cyber factor is 0.5 at the moment, and this cyber total is your maximum. Okay, next on the list is Michael. Your cyber factor is 10.
Oh,
strange that.
Nice.
He's gonna end up cyber killing machine.
Yui, your cyber factor is 6, and Donovan is 7.
Average guys.
And I'll do Jerry's when he's here. So as I said, once you get above that number, it doesn't automatically turn you into it, but there will be certain events that will trigger a roll. If you can't make the number, you enter cyber psychosis, and I'll have a table ready to say what that does to you, and you've got to behave in that manner. Okay. Yep. So just saying. So you've got the cyber chip already inside you that can take a specified task or skill set. It's used as a mind wipe if you need to. It's also used as a gaining extra skill. And the grey sector has also told you that it's with it they can track you. They can't track you at great distance. They couldn't track you from off the planet. They would have to sort of be within about a 50 kilometer radius. It doesn't broadcast too widely, but yeah, just so you know. Who?
Thank you, baby.
I had no other source.
So Yui and right, Donovan. That's cool. That's cool. Sorry, I'm just doing other stuff, so I'm doing it. Okay, so with this information, you are given a bit of background, and I'm just gonna read. Just give me a second. Gotta get to the right page. Why are you not? Because Steve is pushing the wrong button. Okay. So this branch, if you like, was formed just after the April 1st 2389 incident with the League. The League, which is the Oriental sort of branch of humanity on Proxima Centauri, or otherwise known as the Orient, revealed that they had engaged in a dispute on a planet they shouldn't have been on, and the advanced race that they encountered was an aquatic race, but they were advanced enough that they would have been able to follow them back to Earth space. So in reply to that, this agency was set up then. So this agency has been in operation for around about 10, about almost 20 years. So it hasn't really been operating for very much. Okay, so just so you're sort of aware of the history that you have, you're sort of at the beginning of this agency. They do fall under the NSSS, but they're not a recognised, and it's more of a, if you've watched Star Trek, it's more of a Section 31 sort of talked about in hushed tones but never acknowledged. And no one knows if anyone's in the Grey Sector, but you are. So you all have Grey Sector 50 clearances. Apart from that, you are given damn it, did they have, sorry guys, hang on a second, I might have to change one of those skills. Do they not have that in this game? Forgery is a skill. No, they don't. That's why it's not there. Okay, folks. If you want to change, totally cool, you can. The skills, athletics, carousing, streetwise, recon, survival, there's also forgery as another skill. That was supposed to be there. So forgery means you can forge documents, electronic and real. You can try to forge credentials, all sorts of other things. You're sort of given, yeah. That's yeah. So that'll be another skill. So I don't know if anyone wants to change their skill they took instead and take forgery.
Would it be a function of electronics?
It depends, because it could be a document, like a paper document.
Oh.
So it's broader than that. It's like paper documents. It's also electronic stuff as well. But it's the specified art of, like, someone with computers can try, but someone with forgery can try it without having necessarily the computer skill, because they're trained specifically just how to forge electrical documents. Well, Jerry's character might take it, I don't know, but we'll see. But I just suddenly thought that was supposed to be on the list, and I didn't put it on there, sorry.
With Jack of all trades, would my forgery be at -1 now?
What are you
already?
What's your level of Jack of trades?
2.
Yep, you'd have -1 on yours.
Alright.
I mean, you have the computer as other skill, which doesn't give any bonus, but it's easy to see how you could do the Jack, because Jack of all trades, you can't like suddenly become a surgeon. unless you have some sort of information like a med 0 or 1 or something. You can't just suddenly jump into it. You have to have something associated in the field to be able to try.
Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, I guess I'll leave carousing at 2 then. No, I'll think about it. Either leave carousing at 2 or put it back down to 1 and put forgery up to 0. Yeah.
Okay. Rightio, guys. So, what? Sorry.
Oh no, it's alright. I'll probably just leave carousing at 2. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Just see what Jerry wants to do. He might take forgery. Who knows?
Okay. You were going to say something, sorry, Pierre?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Rightio. So, you sort of have this briefing. So, at 50, so there's several theatres of operation. So, of course, there's the whole Vash issue, which you guys are aware of that other people might not be. There's a group in the grey sector that are sort of investigating the Bria people. The ones who almost destroyed themselves in a nuclear war, blew their planet to bits. Also, there's also a lot of intensive work done in the New Commonwealth and the Orient, which is the home planet of the League, the Asiatic League. Just because they seem to be a bit more active in the Asiatic League, just because of the stuff that the Asiatic League have tended to do. So a couple of examples. When Orient was getting overpopulated, they moved other people onto other planets. It was sort of forced colonization. Unfortunately, some of these planets weren't able to, or the people weren't able to afford life support sufficient enough to keep them alive, so lots of people died. On another planet, people were moved, then found work, but they sort of, the people in business sort of monopolized, and they say, well, I'm only going to pay you life support if you work for me for very low money, sort of stuff. And then of course this last one, that they broke the rules about, because what you were allowed to do at the time, whatever planets you had colonized, you were allowed to do one jump away with it, and at that time it was only a jump 1 ship, but now there's jump 2 ships. One jump away from that planet is all you're allowed to go to, because the NSFS is also tasked with investigating planets to ensure that they're safe before colonization happens. So that usually takes a couple of years. So the Asiatic League did the first jump, but then they jumped on to another planet, and that's where they met this race that something bad happened, but this other race hasn't followed them back to human space. So so the Asiatic League have a bit of a reputation, it might be the best word, about them not adhering to human rights and the rules and all that sort of stuff. So lots of stuff happens down there. Of course, the New Commonwealth isn't innocent. They themselves have done a few things. They also managed to recover, in speech marks, jump 2 from Earth technology. I'm not sure how they recovered something that wasn't lost. And also there was the whole XO1 colony right at the very start of colonization, that basically started the whole NSFS. The colony was, they believe, sabotaged by someone introducing a virus, or they were doing black science research and released a virus accidentally. So there's been lots of rules and regulations, and you'll read that in the PDF if you've got the PDF or the OneNote. There's stuff around that in those things. But that's basically what's led to the creation of the grey sector in the NSFS. So that's where you find yourself. What that means, when you will be given normal jobs, and you will be given, depending on what you need, you will be given a cover. You'll work at normal jobs. Everything will be normal until you're called to action something. So currently you are going to be, your first job is actually going to be on Orient. So that will mean for some of you, you'll need to go through some chromatic dyeing, so the pigmentation in your skin is of the right color. There might be some subtle surgical adjustments to make you look more like the people of the area. And you can now request a skill level in either the language. You will be able to speak to people. They don't just solely speak their own language, but everyone sort of speaks a sort of a universal intergalact sort of language anyway. But there's also like their own specific language. Or you could select like for your chip, like a data chip on information about the Asiatic League. So your first job is to go underground. You'll be established with some covers. You're going to be going underground and investigating these guys are thought that they might have possible connections to the remains of the Crimson Horde, and the Crimson Horde were once a great and vast pirate network of people that were creating merry hell in the space lanes. So you're looking on Orient, starting off anyway, to try to locate these people who are potentially gun runners. You've got a little bit of intel, which I'll get into a bit more, but basically that's where you're heading. So with that sort of information, consider whether you want a data chip in your chip space, or like a language chip in your chip space. It's really up to you. You will be able to, because they will speak intergalact, so that's fine, and that doesn't look suspicious at all because you can't speak the language. But it just depends on what you want. I mean, you might want a chip that's completely different for a skill that you think you're going to really want to need. The only skill that cannot be taught, there's two skills that cannot be taught. One is Jot, and the other one is Tactics. Because Tactics is a skill that's learnt, but it's learnt over experience. But just about any other skill you will be able to get a chip for.
Alrighty.
So if you feel you really want like a martial arts skill, then you pull a martial, because I am designing some martial arts particular combat maneuvers that you might want to use, and we might try those out in the game, I don't know, but it might be better just to stick to the main book for the moment. Or like a mini library data sort of in your head particularly about the Asiatic League and the planet of Orient itself, which will give you some, like, make you look like you're one of the people sort of thing.
Somebody needs one of those.
Yeah, so just so you know, okay, the types of people that the ancestors that created the Asiatic League: China, East Russia, Mongolia, Thailand, Vietnam, Korea, Cambodia, Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany, Greece, Hungary, India, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Myanmar, Pakistan, Philippines, Romania, Singapore and Slovakia. So that's the racial types you've sort of got to go with. So I don't know if any of you have sort of seen the videos yet of the game, because I've been using sort of characters that I thought might fit your general description of what your characters look like. So if you're okay with that, I'll just quickly show you who they are, and you can tell me if that's all cool. I don't think many of them would sort of deviate too far from what you might have imagined the characters to be. Just trying to find them, guys. Give me a second. No, you're not a big huge alien. Okay, so this is what's Jerry's character is going to look like, I think. He sort of gives me that look. And where's the next person? Next person.
Not sure where on the map you're doing this. Oh, there it is.
He should just be coming out shortly. Yeah. Okay.
Looks like a prophet of doom.
Yeah. Mentar's next, coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just loading up. Just from how your characters were talking and doing things, I just sort of thought this is, of course, gotta be super big. I'm in the wrong section. That might make the load time a bit easier. Yui, down below a little bit. She's a bit smaller, as a file, I should say. That's pretty much Yui. I hope you like her. Donovan.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. And I'll get to Will.
Yeah.
So Donovan, is that okay for you, Pierre?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then lastly, Will. I'll have to put in the middle somewhere.
That'll have to be something for Gregory too.
Yep. Well, he's at the top.
Oh.
This one here. This one's Greg. And there you are, Will. I hope that's combative enough. I couldn't find anything with a sword by its side, but I thought this is sort of a bit of Will. Slightly older guy, security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, love it.
So if that's okay, guys, those are sort of how I sort of see you guys. So whatever needs to happen, you can choose your cultural background from those that typically are in the Asiatic League.
I'm top left.
Yep, that's you over there.
Yep, looks about right.
Cool.
Yep. Let's take one of the Asiatic League.
Yeah, he did grow a beard.
Asian countries.
Cool. Okay, so Yui, just write down for this job, in your character's notes, it might be job 1. The actual place you're going to is the city of, and that's cool because I had it all written down. I think my cat's taken it. My cat ate my homework, teacher. What has she done with it? I had it all written down somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so there is, where are we? King So is where you're going. Now there's two sort of meanings. The official meaning is like Heng So means like consistently search. It was like an aspirational place, but it also has a secondary meaning, harsh and rancid. So I guess it depends on which part of the city you come from. Yeah, everyone can have the data chip. It's just the data chip. Sorry, the library data. I get what you mean. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So Asiatically general and Orient specific, or do you want something different?
Oh, the one on the Orient, the place we're going. That one.
So Orient specific, so it'll give you a lot more detail with like history and culture and system data and all that sort of stuff. That's okay. Yep. Yeah. Anyone else thought about what chip they really want?
I'll probably take the language one.
Okay. Rightio.
Yep.
If I have to be a doctor to these people, I'll take the language type.
Okay. Cool. Will?
So I'm probably just going to take a skill one.
That's okay. You can. Is there a skill that you want? So the only two it can't be is tactics or jack of all trades. So have a look in the book and see if there's anything there. So it's a level 1, so it can't improve a skill, but it can only it can give a level 1 skill.
Oh, so it I can't improve a skill. All right.
No, it gives you a skill that you don't possess at present.
All right, and in that case, I'm just going to think for a second. Sorry.
Okay, that's all cool. Oh, Pussycat needs feeding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Yui or Donovan, is there anything else? You've sort of got the rough brief, and I'll give you the more specific details probably next time. I'll talk about how you get there and all that sort of stuff. But is there anything else in general? So equipment-wise, so you're going to get standard Asiatic League type equipment. So nothing obviously that identifies you as New Commonwealth or NFSF.
I'm just going to say also that probably a while ago I handed in my hand computer to whoever was in charge, and
you'll be issued
got
with
a
a
fresh.
new one.
I assume they confiscated it, but yeah, I handed mine in, and yeah.
Yep, that's okay. Well, you know what you got to do. So your roles have changed big time. So, is there anything you guys can? Anything else? I'm just going to set up the other page with the. Because I can show you the world map. I've got that much at least.
Okay, well, Mickey, you've got your side and you've got your family. And Madison, and Madison's got her family on her side.
So I've just got to leave that page and drag this new thing in there.
I'll have a look. You need your own
Okay.
Yeah, what if I do this?
There's a good negotiator in the background there.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you need a good negotiator, especially with young ones. You sure she wasn't come on the game as being the group's negotiator?
You don't want to hear her traditional negotiation. It is it's a lot different than this. Just ask Matt.
Ah, okay. Alright. I'll be moving over to the other map as soon as I've got it loaded in. It's just taking a wee while, sorry. Rightio. Oh, you are a tricky little thing. Now, is that the whole map? Or no, it's cut itself off somehow. Oh, okay, I can't even get... Okay, I need to change the width of the... Sorry. I love it when I push the wrong buttons. It just makes things so much more fun. So, data chip person. That was you, I believe, Ostrom. So something interesting, the Orient is a system, well, the Orient, the planet Orient. Okay, I can bring you over. Okay, so this is the planet called Orient. Hell of a lot of land. Only has a water source of 20%. So you have to really come in deep. So the come on, Steve. The capital of the planet is here. If you can see that, the capital's there. I haven't named a whole lot of stuff, but Hangzhou is way over here. It's the other red dot on the planet. It's way over here. So it's a town that's built on plains with hills and mountains and a lake beside it, sort of thing. So, I mean, the thing that you will be sort of caught by is the majesty, the majesty, thank you, and the beauty of the planet. That's sort of, and on the lower left side here you'll see the actual stats of the planet. If you want to zoom in on that part, you can get a bit of a gist of it. So it's got an A-star port, actually it's got several, size 9, so it's a little bit bigger than Earth. Standard Earth atmosphere, as I said, hydrographics of 2. It has a B population modifier. That means there's 11 billion people on this planet.
Cool.
It's a impersonal bureaucracy, civil bureaucracy thing, and it's got a law level of 4, so that means personal concealable weapons are allowed, and it has a tech level of A. Remember, this game tech levels are a bit lower than normal, so A is quite out there. It has its own Navy base, it has an NSFS base, it has a gas giant, it has 3 planetary belts and 6 gas giants. The planet itself, Orient, has 4 moons. So if you were to go and have a look in the PDF or in the OneNote, you actually see the planet and the 4 moons in there around the planet. So it has 2 largest moons and 2 very small moons. The largest moon would be about 1.5 times the size of our moon. The next one would be about the size of our moon, and then the other 2 would be around about 1/10 the size of our moon, just so you get a rough estimate of how big they are. Yeah, okay. So you can
Awesome.
You can explore. I'm going to leave this on so you can explore and have a look at the layout of the place. I will probably update it before our next game with a lot more population bases and some other things that you would be briefed on. You're basically going to be inserted at Hengso only because of its distance from the capital. Hengso does have a B starport. You are going to be inserted somewhere where the hills and the mountains connect, and then walk in through the hex. And I can't even tell you how big that hex is. It's going to be pretty big. Or you'll have equipment to drive through to get to the city and then start from there. So you have to, yep.
The personal concealable weapons, does that include, because I remember there was talk of some places not allowing laser pistols. Does that, laser pistols, would they be
pistols
on
are
this
out.
kind of plan?
And laser pistols,
Out?
I think,
Alright.
yeah, laser pistols I think come in at the next tech level.
Okay.
Or
Yep.
the one after that, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up for you. I don't think laser pistols, laser weapons are available. They might be in development at this tech level.
Alrighty.
Yeah. I mean,
What about the
they're actually
NSFS?
available in the, they're available to the military because that's what they fought on Weiss with. But not to the general public. So if you've got one, it will be highly illegal on this planet anyway.
Yeah, so we could requisition one potentially from who we work for, but walking around with one on this planet would just look completely
you'd be at risk of blowing your whole mission because you'd blow your cover. Well, you'd be taken out by the police. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but pistols, revolvers, snub guns, totally legal. Body pistols? No, body pistols aren't because they are undetectable. They're made with plastics and stuff. But revolvers, not a problem.
Alrighty.
Yep. Daggers, cutlasses, blades. Again, not a problem. Yeah. Yeah, not a problem. It's quite a loose law. But you've got to understand. So, Ostrom, you can access their whole honor code, and your brain starts hurting.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So you are going to be able to sort of give the group. So what I'm saying is, by the time you guys set foot on this planet, you'll have a sense of honor code. So if you've ever seen anything from China or Japan, they have that type of honor code. There are certain stations, certain people that should you cross, they're not going to slap your hand and say horrible and socially ostracize you. They're probably going to send someone to take you out. Yeah. The practice, yeah, they don't really practice, what's the Japanese thing, art of suicide, the
Harakiri.
Seppuku. Haraki or seppuku? Yeah, something like that.
Harakiri or seppuku, yes.
Seppuku, yeah. So they don't really practice that here. Japanese, I think, joined the Commonwealth, not the Asiatic League, I think. So that's not sort of practiced here, but you know, you've got triad-like groups, you've got all sorts of stuff, and it is a sort of impersonal bureaucracy thing that they do practice as their government form. Sorry?
Yeah, Japan is Commonwealth. It's in the PDF.
Yeah. Whereas the Commonwealth is much more democratic. This is yeah. the sort of established agencies have got the power, and they make sure they keep the power. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, so welcome to the world of Orient. Hope you survive the experience. It is going to be a lot dangerous and darker. We are going to get a little bit into sort of more of a you'll hopefully feel a little bit more of a cyber vibe to the game.
Yep.
So sort of play it that way, not super hard, but play it that way. This isn't just Traveller put into an Oriental sort of theme. It definitely, you're going planet side, you've got a different scale of game and a different sort of intent behind it. Yeah, I think that's about anything I can tell you. And now I've got 2 weeks to get everything ready. Because 20 minutes before the game started and my visitor came, I started generating this, so I haven't had much time to get much. I've just been pulling things in from what I wanted when I was doing this sort of stuff, thinking about it. Any questions about it? So, sorry, Will, I was saying before about martial arts. I'm thinking about it as a martial art form. So if you want to retcon it and say, well, actually, I want to, instead of my melee combat or whatever it is, I want to retcon it into a martial art form, that's fine. I've got to find the Traveller book. It's one of the journals of Traveller that they set up these martial art forms to use. And I thought, well, that might be something I want to use here.
Oh, maybe. I'm pretty physically weak. I just don't know, man.
But the thing with the martial arts is that you get the bonus of the martial arts is the thing that gives you the bonus of damage, not the actual strength. It's the skill at which you hit the nerve cluster or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it a specific style of martial arts?
I've got to develop them. Yeah, I've got to develop them, and like because you choose from like hard skills, soft skills. You choose. Is it attack? Is it defense? And what is the general thrust of this particular martial art? And then you give it a name, and you give it the bonuses and penalties for attacking or defending or whatever it gives you. And then if you take that, you've learnt that style of martial art.
Yeah. I'd be.
Just saying, it's there. It's there, and if you want to change it, you can.
So I could record my +8 in swords to that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like doing that. One other thing I was curious about, when I was in the Navy, did my Navy even have energy pistols? Because I thoroughly did not understand the scarcity of them when I picked that skill.
Yeah. I'm thinking probably I've got to go back and have a look at the tech levels I've set on different worlds. And
yeah, because on the planet we come from, you said they didn't even have the tech for it yet. So
I'm thinking not. So, but
could I recon that into a normal pistol?
You can, but what I'm thinking is that they would have had some, because I know when we played the game, both sides were using laser rifles, and I do know that laser pistols come in at a later tech level. So laser carbines and laser rifles come first. I think it's carbine first, rifle second, and then pistols 1 or 2 systems later. So you might have had availability of a laser carbine or rifle, but not a pistol. I've got to find my book. Yep.
I have a question with the combat skill we were able to choose earlier.
Yep.
Could that end up being one of these martial arts?
Sure. I don't have a problem with
All right.
that.
I might leave what I had chosen.
Yep.
I'll unchoose that then, and I'll choose to have a 1 in some sort of martial art later.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll think about maybe doing that myself.
Okay, that's cool. Well, it's I just didn't know. I mean, it's going to add a little level of complexity to the game when we get into combat, but I think it'll be quite cool when we do it, if we do it, and it's more that sort of ground scale of the game then, because that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I might stick with bludgeoning. I can always pick up a chair and hit a dude with it.
That's right. Yeah, but martial arts just sounds so much cooler.
Yeah.
And the thing is, guys, there will be martial arts from the new Commonwealth as well. So I'll develop a couple of Asiatic. So the martial arts that you're going to learn is probably going to have to be a new Commonwealth or a Terra one, a Terra meaning Earth. Probably not an Asiatic one because you're not from there.
Unless you took it from the cyber chip.
unless you got it in a cyber chip. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, just because for some reason I've got written here cyber chip skill 1d4. I thought when you first mentioned it, you said that it can give you a skill and raise it between 1 and 4. Is that correct, or is it just 1?
That's right. No, these ones are just level 1 you're given. Yep. So some of the chips actually go up to level 4.
Oh, okay, but the ones we have access to now
A level 1.
1.
Yeah. So a level 2 chip is worth a cyber factor of 1. A level 4 chip is worth a cyber factor of 2. Because it's making your brain work so much more, and it can, flick stuff over some more. So if you skill chip a combat skill, and that's okay because we've got time in the training, you still have to spend time training with that chip skill in there, because the skill will give you it, but it's still got to get used to the interface called your body to get it done. Yeah. So if you're skill chipping it, that's okay, but like in gaming terms, you'd actually be having to do some training with it. It doesn't just automatically pop into your head like a data chip with information would, because you can just instantly here's the index and I call out that information. I've got to understand that information.
Yeah.
And with your more cultural data chip, with Ostrom's more cultural data chip and language chip, you need to practice it so you get some of the more subtle nuances of what that means. Yeah, the chip might say always eat with your left hand. Okay, right, and then what happens if I do something with my right hand that's actually wrong? You know what I mean? It's like so there's nuances.
So the physical aspects of it, you still have to sort of train yourself to
a little bit.
Follow what you've got in your brain. Pretty much.
And that's why it can induce a cyber psychosis, because it's you're asking your body to do something a lot quicker than natural learning and living it does. And it's sort of a shock to the whole nervous system or neural system. So that's sort of how I've sort of explained it away in my games anyway. Okay, so we'll pretty much leave it there tonight, guys, but is there any last questions before we finish? And I'll turn off the recording. Any last questions?
I had a question about the cyber chip.
Yes.
Is the mind wipe something that can be remotely activated? Do they have their hooks into us?
No one said that. But are you asking the question?
I'm asking. Let me see. I wonder if I can subtly talk about the characteristics of the cyber chip. Try to find out anything. I say it wipes your mind. You say if you request it.
Yes.
I look at their face intently.
Are you wanting to ask something else? They say.
How do I manage to activate it?
You will just basically, when you come to a point where you feel you've got no other option, and to protect the grey sector and probably save your life, you activate it.
Okay. I look at his face intently to see if he's maybe hiding back on that it's not the only way to activate it.
You can always ask him that question.
Yeah.
You could always telepathy and try to read his surface thoughts, because you've got the side points.
Oh, they're probably all more trained in telepathy. We're rookies. I'm not going to try anything like that. Okay. I was just trying to look for more for like
the first sensible thing your character ever did. Very sensible and safe. Sorry, you were saying.
I want to see about a personal reaction that I might pick up on that might betray that it's not the only way to do it.
Right. He says it needs the presence of the chemicals that are brought on when you're under a super stressful situation, such as cortisol, adrenaline, all that sort of stuff. So it can't be activated if you're totally calm, if that's what you're saying.
All right, I'll leave it at that.
Right.
He's lying. I think it can still be activated remotely.
But I think they can only track us through a 50-kilometer range.
About 50 kilometers is roughly what you've been told. Yeah, roughly.
So they need a transmitter within that kind of range to
That's right,
activate it.
But every starport, every starport, every gate is probably programmed with a command. If they send out the kill command, mind wipe so and so.
Mentor?
Yeah, I don't think they would do that because if you left that kind of thing in all your agents, all the counterintelligence department would have to do is figure out the right code to send, and they could wipe all enemy agents in the area.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that would be really handy for the guys who don't want you spying on them.
Mm-hmm. So on that note, it does make sense that you wouldn't actually have a remote kill, because that does endanger you from the enemy if they can engage a remote kill on you.
Well, you'd think each individual person would have their code heavily encrypted, but yeah, if the enemy broke that encryption, then they could kill everyone.
Yeah.
So
if it's only done by the individual, it can never be done by the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that sort of answer your question a bit more with that consideration, Pierre?
Not really, but that's just perfect for this.
So Pierre, is this one of those?
Perfect for this. It's perfect for this cloak and dagger type environment.
Okay. Cool. So is this sort of a case of like in our other games where things have been mostly safe? Is this another mostly safe thing? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Mentor, you want to say something?
Mostly safe. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Okay then. Well, if there's no other major questions, guys.
Oh, I've got one question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Last one.
Yeah.
Did you say Japan was in the Commonwealth?
Japan's in the new Commonwealth. Yeah. So most of the stuff around the Pacific Rim was part of the new Commonwealth, with some of the European blocks.
With the martial arts thing.
Yep.
Does that mean some Japanese ones could have got through?
Yes.
Because since I have a +8, I'm going to be a borderline master of one. I think like maybe jiu-jitsu-ish would be cool. Because you don't have to be
+8 from what?
Remember you said changing my melee skill to the martial arts skill.
Retconning a slashing weapon, which is a +8. Yeah.
No. You can't retcon all your skills.
Was that?
The one level is your gun that combat skill is level 1. It should really be level 1 of a new skill.
No worries, sorry. I thought when you said redcon, I thought you meant from the other sessions.
No, retcon from what we did this session. So if you instead of putting it on your whatever, you can change it into a martial arts if you want to. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll have a level 1 in whatever you do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And the other thing I think sorry, you go, Manta.
How did you get a +8 in something?
He's got a +7 in his cutlass skill, I think.
Yeah.
He went through a lot of he went through a lot of terms. He's an old man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why he's got a 4 strength or something.
Yeah. That's a trait. My body for experience, I guess.
Well, now you know you want to try to get some cyberware to increase that strength.
Yeah, for sure. Can I start replacing my body piece by piece?
Possibly.
Well, mate, with a cyber factor 10, you end up murderous.
Yeah.
Murderous cyborg.
Yeah.
Be fun.
It'd be cool. It'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Too easy.
Yep. So the other thing I think with the martial arts, it's not all just based on strength. I think some are based on dexterity. So as I said, I'll have to find the book and I'll create a couple of styles, and then send them out to you guys to see if you want to change that combat skill to level 1.
No worries.
Cool. Okay, I'll stop the recording.